Laugonma. Just checking with Lau.
You went ham on that me.
Guys, check out our Peacemaker review of episode 1 to 3 and our interview because we have exclusive coverage of Laugonma and the delicious sauce. Yeah, I know. Dylan completely agreed with it. So did John Cena. I mean, so that was great.
So, how's it feel coming back to class?
Very confusing. I don't know what's going on.
I agree. It's more confusing than our interview.
Yeah. It's like I don't know what's going on right now. It's like scheduling wise and stuff, and plus the coronavirus. How about you? I know we're both in class. If you guys didn't know.
Well, it's so funny. I told you this story, but so yesterday I was at the airport. I was in Chicago, coming home. And it was actually my first day of class, which I totally forgot. It was a night class, and I had to remember that there's a time difference because I was in Chicago, and the Northeast, it's an hour difference. So I was trying to get to the gate early so that I had time to just sit down and then go on my computer and then log into my class. So I felt like fucking Kendall from Succession running to the board meeting. Like, Roman, is Roman there? Lawrence? Don't start without me.
I'm just still surprised you actually watched it.
It's a good show. Like I will give it to you, Akram. It was a good recommendation. I'm glad that I got into it because it's so funny. It's just like it deserves all the award that it got, like the Golden Globes and everything. But I love the cast. I love Jeremy Strong, Kieran Culkin, Brian Cox. I think they're all great. But I can't wait till season 4 comes up.
Yeah, I can't wait to do a review of that. Finally, we could do a review. It might take a while though, because with scheduling issues, with obviously the coronavirus stuff. It's kind of like The Boys. Like they take like a huge kind of like, it seems like a hiatus at first. They did take a hiatus for season 3. Actually, it took like about 2 years or so since 2019. And then all of a sudden it just came out not too long ago.
Well, it's so crazy because when did the first season come out? Because it feels like it's still relevant to like today's like topics. Because there was like one part in season 1 where like Kendall's going into like the art industry, like the underground market and shit. And it's like they're talking about like NFTs and shit. I was like, damn, when did they film this shit? Because like it's so relevant.
Yeah, that the writer actually, there's a whole like room filled with like writers, but like one of the main writers worked on a play that was all about like business and stuff like that. So she like knows a lot of insights and worked with journalists and stuff like that. Yeah, honestly, it's really relevant. And also just the philosophy behind it, psychology behind it. It's really like a rich show, I'd say. So that's why it does so well. And it's all, most of the time it's improv. They do multiple recordings, one scripted, then okay, go free, do your thing. And as we could see with Kieran, he's just like
Brian
wild.
Cox even stated he's worried about Jeremy because apparently his method acting is going like above and beyond the norms. So I hope he's not like doing lines of coke during the show or some shit.
That or
that's what we need to do for our podcast.
Yeah,
what it takes to run this thing.
That's what we got to start snoring in Laugonma. So, I mean,
I like your Boba Fett shit, by the way. I call it Boba Fett because apparently Slave 1 is outlawed.
Outlawed, and I
PC
don't know the
community.
Name. Yeah, and I forgot even what's the new name from it.
I think it's just called Fire Spray or some shit.
Oh yeah,
I mean
that's
the class of ship that it was in, but they just changed it now. It's officially called Fire Spray, whatever the fuck they want to call it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole political thing. It's like hard to, I don't know.
Wouldn't it be funny though? It was just like Boba, like in this episode, like when he went to bust his ship out, and it's not even like his ship; it's just like a hot toy ship. He's like, it's a collectible exclusive. I have to get it out of there.
No, it's what's his name? Vin Diesel's character from Fast and Furious. I was saying DeMarcus by accident. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Dom Toretto.
Dom Toretto. It's like
that's an inside joke, y'all. That's like. I was about to say down bad. That's a lunch table podcast, inside joke.
Maybe one day we'll tell it. Yeah. Oh,
when we get enough followers, we'll talk about that. But yeah, that'd be funny if like Dom Toretto was there.
Well, they had like a reunion. You know what I mean? With the gang or
Jabba's palace, just like a garage with just like all these like vintage cars and shit.
Esta noche we learned to
or like the nightclub place or like the cyborg tattoo parlor. It's just like it's like the Tokyo Drift club. One day if you know.
They
You
have
live
the
in
Hulk, like
Tokyo.
that Hulk car. I forgot from what's that guy name? Bow Wow, was he in there? I
Yeah,
forgot.
yeah,
Yeah, the Bow Wow was there, with just his random like his regular clothes.
he's so random.
Well, that's like it's very like different. I'd say like the new style, right? You were saying something earlier that's kind of like they're like the millennials of Star Wars now, or
Yeah, it's
something
so
like that.
weird because we don't see young people. Well, we do, but not
Mm.
that often in Star Wars. So it's just like it's weird to see like because they're so fashionable for Star Wars. That's my thing. They look so fashionable. Almost feels like out of place. But we kind
Mm.
of saw that in what was it? It was like I think it was Last Jedi when they were in that casino place and they were kind of like wearing
Right.
like it depends
Yep.
like different cultures for Star Wars, which is really cool because you can be flexible with like the way people dress and shit. So I really like that. I think it's just like cool that we get to see like it's not just like different races, but it's like also different like genders, ages. It's so
Inclusive,
it's very
yes.
scary.
Very scary. I wanted Star Wars to suck the essence out of the norms.
Lao Gun Ma.
Lao Gon Ma.
Hey guys, welcome to the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram, where we discuss your favorite in pop culture entertainment. We're here with another Book of Boba Fett review for Chapter 4, The Gathering of the Storm. Great episode, a lot more reveals into Boba's past and also his next steps for the future. Here to discuss is my own capo and my co-host Akram. Tell me what you liked about Chapter 4.
Well, how you doing, Dylan? How's everyone doing? Very scary. It was great. Honestly, I felt like it was such a fun episode and such a revealing episode of Boba Fett's character. I think it answered the question that everyone had, was why he was so pacifist, through this whole series. Up to this point, now we understand, thankfully, and I hope that kind of like calms some qualms over that. So yeah, very fun episode, I'd say. We got more of the fire spray instead of Slave One, as we were speaking about earlier. That's awesome. Sarlacc pit's great, and we'll go over of that end like teaser right there, which is crazy. I can't wait to discuss that. But yeah, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, like you said, answered a lot of our questions that we've had from this series so far. One of the big questions I had about this series was why Boba Fett decided to uh, become a crime lord as opposed to a bounty hunter, and we kind of saw his ideology in this episode. So he feels like the crime lords that he's dealt with so far just kind of been like making wrong moves, and it's been costing lives. I mean, obviously that's the line of work that they do. Their own life they put in jeopardy. It's like go big or go home. You get big rewards, but at the same time, you're also risking your life. But he feels like these people in power just throw mercenary lives so casually away without any consequence. So I like that they showed that because it's kind of like his mindset. He wants to kind of like change the system a little bit, where like everybody can win. And this episode, I think he definitely got his balls back. With that crime family meeting, as we saw with the three families. So I think that was definitely like a show of power for him, and it was just kind of like, don't fuck with me, because I'm still at the end of the day, I'm still the daimyo. So I like that a lot. I think there was a lot of cool Easter eggs in this show. So let's start from the beginning. So obviously we start with Boba. He finds Fennec in the desert, which we saw from obviously Mandalorian. Season 1, so it was cool that we saw that time between season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian, what him and Fennec were up to before he got his armor back. So that was cool. We got to see that mod shop we were talking about earlier with the cyborg Inspector Gadget kids or the Power Ranger kids, whatever you want to call them. That's just cool to me. It feels like it's like a Star Wars version of like a tattoo parlor. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just like it's like instead of like adding something to yourself, you're kind of like taking away from yourself. You're like, because like tattoos are kind of like representative of like identity in a way. So it's like, I don't know, maybe they feel like cyborg parts just like, I don't know, makes them better as a person. I don't know. It's just cool. It's like really interesting in my opinion. And we saw the appearance of Thundercat, which I thought was cool, little cameo. It's so fun. I feel like every episode now has at least like one celebrity cameo now. But I thought that was, because at first I thought that was Kendrick Lamar. And I was like, damn, is that Kendrick? And then I had to look up. I was like, oh shit, Thundercat made an appearance. So he was the the parlor surgeon. But
There's
that
a
was
lot of
cool. I like his.
celebrities in this, yeah.
It's a lot of celebrities. It's so interesting. It's like the video game industry now. It's like at least one celebrity for every episode.
The video game industry is
Um,
always
it's
evolving,
always
so is
evolving, as
this.
you always say. But that was cool. And then so they're scouting out Jabba's palace, or Bib Fortuna's palace, I guess, at this time, because we hadn't seen Slave One for a long time, which I was talking about in the earlier part. I was like, where is Slave One at? Like all this time. So we haven't seen it in modern yet, but we did see it in the flashbacks. So actually, that little probe droid thing that Fennec has, we actually saw that in if there's any fans of Star Wars Clone Wars 2003 from Jenny D. Tartakovsky, that little probe droid was actually in the episode when Obi-Wan is fighting on Munilis. So it's this cool little, like, I think the Clone Commandos had it. It's like a little map. I think it's called a map droid or something. But that was a little cool Easter egg. We also saw the rabbit droid from Dave Filoni's Clone Wars. So
Yeah, that was
it's
fun
funny
to
how
see.
like Clone Wars like makes its way into like little Easter eggs and stuff. The droid from, I believe it was from Return of the Jedi, that was like in charge of like C-3PO and R2. And then there's like a chef droid, which I thought was funny because he pulled like a
General
General Grievous.
Kenobi!
Yeah, General Kenobi. That was so funny. So I love all the Easter eggs, and obviously the Sarlacc pit made a return with that jump scare. But what else did you feel this episode? Did I miss anything?
No, yeah, pretty on point. I thought that was great to see the Sarlacc pit versus Slave One or Fire Spray. That was really cool. I like the like. There's so much control over Fire Spray. There's so much control over it. Like you could just do so much of it, and I thought that it's so interesting to see like another jump scare because we had missed minutes before with Loki, and now we got this. And we also get to see some resolution to Boba Fett's disease. So apparently it's like just because the acid, I don't know, that acid must have like some poisoning effect or something for him to go to that length of having to do a back to tank all the time. So, and as we've seen in this episode, finally he is healed. So full strength. Yeah, some of the things we were mentioning last episode too, like some things that we've seen here. I remember we mentioned something about like some celebrity appearances we'll probably see, and obviously there you go. The table with like the other type of like families. And I really like the fact, I was just say I think it's very scary. I can't get that out of my head now. I like the fact that like he says like, I'll give you this, like, I don't expect anything from you, don't expect anything from me. I don't know how well that's going to go later on for the future of things. I don't know if like it's going to all come down to like, it's going to like basically splash in his face that he's going to like figure out, oh, I have to be like really bad like Jabba was with these people, like treat them like really bad, everything through fear. But yeah, I really like, I found the discussion Fennec and Boba had, I felt like that was such a nice and beautiful moment. He was trying to explain himself. I think Tamora Morrison's such a great actor here, and obviously like in Jango Fett, I mean, I've seen him in other movies, but like here he's like, you could tell like when he was speaking about it, it's like kind of like a little bit hesitant, like in the facial expression, so like kind of like, he knows how it sounds. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like he has to do it this way. And we spoke about that last episode too. Like the Sand people really changed him. And I'm glad because a lot of people, like you said, were really concerned. They were saying, "Oh, this is not the Boba Fett that we grew up with or that we know of." But no, it really changed him. It's a very like adult thing to like not just have him all badass, because there's no depth to that. And so here we see there's more of a depth. The man has changed now, and it's true. Like in a way, mercenaries are disrespected, and like it's all about respect, right? So he's gonna like bring Fennec on with him, and I'm glad. I like that relationship. Like she just tags along, she appreciates that he helped her. He went to
Yeah.
such a length, and she respects him. And say goodbye to that bantha too. That bantha was so cute.
And,
It was like the tongue, like.
it's like Old Yeller, or like I don't know, Seabiscuit or something.
I know, it was so much like animated. We never seen that from a bantha. Like actually like give time to like, pet the bantha.
I know.
It was such like a nice moment. I don't know.
He's like, get out of here, get out.
I felt like to cry.
I know. Boba has such like a good relationship with animals in Star Wars. Better than Din Djarin anyway, but yeah, I agree. Like I love his changing character. That's one of the big themes of this show is redemption, but also like turning your angle away from your past. Even Fennec, we can see that like she was kind of like this ruthless assassin, but I don't know. Who knows why she turned around? I thought that was just interesting. Like maybe she just is like she maybe agreed with Boba. Like you know she's probably worked for like some terrible people and didn't always get her way. So maybe she's just turning a new leaf and she's like, oh well, maybe if I stick around with this guy, maybe there's more reward for me than if I just keep going solo by myself. Um, so I wonder like how long she'll stick around with that. And then also like speaking of that, we also got like Black Chrysanthemum made another appearance. So I thought that was interesting, like his fight with the Trandoshan, because it's kind of like almost like racial tension between like the Wookiees and the Trandoshan.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. That is true.
Because a lot of people are like wondering like why is he so mad at the Trandoshan? But a lot of people don't know, like in the comics and in the lore, the Trandoshans are actually like, Wookiee slavers.
Yeah.
I think even Bosk had like some like Wookiee braids or some shit that he kept around or something. And there's always that tension between the Wookiees and the Trandoshan.
And watch the Clone Wars. They had a full episode of that. Yeah,
you can see that. It's so funny because it's like reminds me of like King Kong and Godzilla in a way. It's just like amphibian or like that primate and reptilian rivalry for some reason. It's always like it just draws from like older narratives. But I thought that was cool.
Rich
so,
themes here. Yeah,
it's very scary. But Black Chrysanthemum, I guess he's now running full time with the Boba gang, so that's cool. Or maybe he's just working as like I don't know, maybe like a bodyguard or something. Like, if you have Chrysanthemum on your team, you're fucking set, dude. Because that dude is like he bodied his whole security team in like the first or the second episode. It's like if you have that guy around, nobody's gonna fuck with you. Plus he has the Rancor now, which we saw that he used to his advantage during the meeting. So that was cool. So like now people know that he has like a legit Rancor. So he's in power now. It's not like you can just like fuck with him if you want. But so I guess the Pikes now are just like setting up camp. We still haven't seen the mayor in this episode, so I guess he's running with them now. So we're just gonna see like next episode. I guess they're setting up this big war or this big showdown between Boba and the Pikes. I'm still kind of iffy on the three families because it's like you said, you can't really trust them too much. But he did make a good point. Like he trusts them to act in their own self-interest. So it's not like he obviously doesn't trust them, but he trusts them to work to his advantage. But yeah, so that last scene that we saw, we heard the Mandalorian theme. So what do you think about that? Do you think we will see our old pal Pedro?
Well, that guy is really busy because he's filming The Last of Us Part 2 and getting paid $600,000 for each episode. So imagine now coming back to Star Wars. That is great because we also can see here's the thing. Resolution, like where did he go after Mandalorian season 2? And also this could be a teaser for season 3 of The Mandalorian, which a lot of people were unsure of. They didn't give too much information on that. So I think that we're going to get some of that dialogue between Boba and Din Djarin, and also maybe some dialogue about Grogu. Like maybe Boba's going to mention some funny comment on Grogu or even Fennec, something like that. I think it's awesome. I think it's going to be great. I wonder if we're going to see like a suit upgrade. I wonder if he's even going to like still have the helmet on. Like maybe he's just like kind of in a way evolved from that. So there's a lot of questions to be answered. I don't think we'll get them all, but I think that there will be a lot of teasers for the answers to come. And I think that the fight's going to be really badass. I can't wait for the Rancor. I said something last episode. It's like, I got a feeling he might like ride the Rancor, Boba. And
I'll be mad if he doesn't ride that Rancor.
Yeah, it's like something so badass, right? And it's just like, I can't wait.
I want Danny Trejo to have his own Rancor too.
Oh, Danny Trejo. I want him just to go into battle with like, not Star Wars machetes, but like
just like some machetes.
But no. He's like has a trench coat. He's like it's like all these like mini Uzis or something. He's like
you got some bandoilers and shit.
Yeah, grenades like just there.
You see like he turns the gadget kids into like the spy kids or some shit.
But they were like murderous. They were like they all had like AKs and stuff like that. They were ready to go. Like it was just like full
like Desert Eagles and shit.
Yeah, it was like Black Chrysanthemum. They gave him a minigun. It was all full like all out.
Oh my
war.
God.
Like,
I really hope the last episode like we get to see like everybody's like martial prowess at the end.
I think
like
so.
Boba really hasn't been like doing any crazy fights this season. I think that just like the one with Black Chrysanthemum, I think that's the only
Yeah.
one I can think of. So I
Yeah.
hope like we get to see like more like the way he uses his armor and shit like we saw in Mando season 2 when he was fighting the stormtroopers. So I hope we get to see like his backpack rocket or something. I don't know, just like him like in his prime,
Well,
like fighting shit.
let me ask you something. Why do you think it's called the Book of Boba Fett? I have my theory, but I want to hear yours first.
I was about to say the Book of Eli.
No, no,
No,
no,
I
no.
think this series like is still glued to Mandalorian because in a way it's kind of like how Punisher was glued to Daredevil. Um, it's like its own chapter of the Mandalorian, right? It's its own entity, but I think it's just like a little sub narrative because remember this also takes place like the flashbacks takes place in between Mandalorian, right? So it's kind of like its own like a subheader or a subnote, like in between the time of Mandalorian, what was going on during that period, right? Because remember, Din went to Tatooine too, so it's kind of like they're telling stories from different points of view, right? It's kind of like a parallel. So it's like we see like Din's point of view, and then we see Boba's point of view, right? Because in the way, like Boba is like a Mandalorian in his own right, whether or not he accepts that title or not. So it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship away. Like there's like Mandalorians who like honor the code and embrace their tradition, and then there's like the Mandalorians who are more modern in a way, and they are more aligned with reality in the real world and how do they make a living. So it's kind of like cool to see. Like, and then there's like also you could talk about like Death Watch, like with Bo-Katan's faction. I wonder if she'll ever get her own spin-off one day. That'd be cool, like just to see like Mandalorians like from the planet Mandalore, like the more extremists or the most or like modernists, I guess you could say. So I wonder if like she'll make an appearance in this show too, because remember Fennec, I mean it was heavily implied that Din might make a reappearance, but Fennec did say like with credits you can buy any muscle as long as you know where to look. So it could be anybody in the Star Wars. I hope we see Bosk. Though. I just want to see Bosk at least one time in the show, or some like classic bounty hunter. But I think so far this episode was really good. I think it delivered as far as pacing because it's been kind of slow for the first 3 episodes, but I think it's picking up now. So do you know how many episodes we have left now?
6 and 7. Well, 3 episodes. Yeah.
Okay, so 3 episodes left. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good setup for this big, war we have going on. But any predictions for next episode?
I didn't even answer. I said I had my theory why it's called the Book of Boba Fett. You went on a tangent. Hold on.
I go off sometimes, guys.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. What's your thoughts on it?
No, I think it's everything you said minus the tangent, but I think it's everything you said, and I think it's really because the Book of Boba Fett's all about this new chapter in his life. But not only that, it's like 3 things: the chapter that it's kind of like you said intertwined with the Mandalorian. I think it's a new chapter in his life that he changed the page, and I also think it's as if we're seeing this legend in front of our eyes transform Tatooine slowly and through respect, and is changing the game of bounty hunting and hunting. And I think that's really important because we're going to see that in comics. It's going to go straight to the comics, and we're going to see like how people are going to change like just this whole bounty hunting world, because it's very like a very like nasty, gritty, slick bounty hunting world that we see in the comics shows, but now we'll see it through respect. So it's kind of like as if they're like I don't know, like samurais or something like that later on. I mean, there's a lot of like
spaghetti
parallels.
western or something.
Yeah, and there's a lot of parallels, like you mentioned. Episode, I think it's episode 2 about like Boba crafting his band. I would say back the tank. He's crafting his stick, right? So yeah, but going back to the predictions, I think it's hard to say, right? Because I feel like they answered this question, why he's behaving this way. Now Black Chrysanthemum's here. I think we're going to see more of the mayor. I think now it's time to see what are the Pikes really up to. I know it's the spice trade, but like, what will the mayor get from it? And will we see a cameo again? I keep saying it. Will we see a cameo from Emilia Clarke's character, Kira? Will we see anything like that? Like even like a crossover? Because I know she's a part of what? She's not really a part of the Pikes, right? She's a part of what?
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawns, but like still, like, will we see something like that? Because I'm interested. Because if we got Black Chrysanthemum, the sky's the limit, really. Because I never expected we'll see him. So I got a
Or
feeling
Dr. Aphra, who knows?
Dr. Aphra. I mean, maybe next episode we'll get Din Djarin in this somehow. Like they're gonna go like it's kind of like a fetch quest of like let's go get Din Djarin. Where is he now? You know, maybe I don't know. I got a feeling like Din Djarin kind of like hung up the cape or cloak, and he's like trying after what happened with Grogu. He's kind of like okay. Well, still, we have to talk about the dark saber as well. Like, what's going on with that? We'll
That's
probably
true,
will get
yeah.
answers. I think we will get answers
I mean,
next episode.
my theory is that he probably went back to the armorer. Maybe he's like rethinking of like, you know, because remember season 2 was like a big character transformation for Din too, right? Because he was kind of like meeting all these different Mandalorians that weren't, you know, in line with the code. So it was kind of like he was like reforming his own character way. He was thinking about like other points of view. So maybe I don't know, maybe next season, or maybe if we see him in this show, maybe he's like reconsidering like what it means to be a Mandalorian. Maybe he's not wearing the helmet so much, or because remember like the whole I forgot what they called it. It was like the covert of the Mandalorians died out in the first season. I mean, they still had the armor left, so maybe he's helping her like rebuild or something. Who knows? But yeah, just interesting to think about.
Yeah, very interesting and cool stuff. Yeah, I can't wait to do the review for episode 5. Also, Peacemaker. The Peacemaker episode might not come out tomorrow for our review. It might come out like around Friday-ish or Saturday-ish again. Really exciting stuff. You guys could check out our full playlist as well. It's gonna be linked down below, and also check out our Hawkeye reviews. That's like really fun to do. That was a really fun experience. And What If? That was like our like season 1 stuff, so please forgive the audio quality.
And we got a news discussion I think coming out on Saturday, so
Yeah.
we're gonna be talking about the big news. Obviously was Moon Knight. I almost said Moonlight, but Moon Knight and a bunch of other cool news that we haven't touched on lately, but I think a news discussion is overdue. So yeah, stick around guys. Thank you for listening to our review for Boba Fett. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. Like Akram said, on our next video, we'll be covering Peacemaker Episode 4 on HBO. So stay tuned for that because Akram has a lovely interview with John Cena on our YouTube page.
That was so good.
So definitely check out that if you're interested. But until then, guys, thank you for having lunch with us.
See you guys.